Worthington. I'm an ordained interfaith minister and a Centers for Spiritual Living practitioner, which is the umbrella group for religious science now, and a ministerial student in that as well. Seems like I'm always a student of something, right? Thank you. And so today we're going to take the theme for the month is roots. It's, let's see, not examining your roots. Let's back to Reverend Jean, thank you. Back to your roots. So we're going to talk about roots in a variety of ways. Spiritual, ancestral, physical, and we're going to talk a little bit about puppy time, puppy mind, and then Catherine's going to do a meditation for us, and then that's pretty much what's going to happen. So I do have a favorite way that I always like to start, and that is with our Surely the Presence song. Just a minute to get centered in whatever way helps you. If you like a few deep breaths, that's great, but you may have your own way of really getting centered and being present now. He is very consciously showing Ace what to do back there. Maybe a bit louder if you can. Thank you. Feel free to sing along if you know it.
The presence and feel the mighty power and the grace.
We're able to gather together today. And I have a couple of helpers to help me start this. And so I'm going to invite them up here right now. Yeah, after they get unleashed. You ready? Zora, come here. Come here. Come look. Look. Zora. It's like they're being punished. Come here. Oh, geez. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, look. Lulu treat. Lulu. 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 Okay, this was unexpected. Okay, are you ready? Good, sit. Stay. Good, sit. Good, stay. Now take a look. One dog's sitting and staying, and the other one is having a real hard time with that, right? She's up and wiggling. And so this is Zora, and this is Lulu. Good, sit. Good, stay. Oh, you got the big one. And you notice they're very treat-oriented, as most dogs are, right? But Zora would sit and stay probably all day long if you told her to. Lulu, no interest. And they're also different motivations for sitting and staying, right? Now, if we watch this, Zora, look at this. Watch that. Watch that. Ready? Go, Zora. Go get it. It's okay. They're waiting for more treats. Go get your ball. You're all done. You're all done. Okay, come on. Normally, Zora is very ball oriented. Are you ready? There you go. Oh, there you go. There we go. All right. Good enough. And a crab. Okay, you can grab them again. I'll turn them back over to the dog wrangler back here. So yeah, okay. Yeah, the dog whisperer back there. Lulu's on the loose. As you can see, Lulu doesn't like to sit and stay. Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question. Which one do you identify with when you're trying to get centered? Lulu or Zora? There's more of a, yeah, I'll do anything you want. I'll sit and stay. And Lulu's like, yeah, whatever. Where's the treats? I don't have any more right here. I'm sorry. I don't have any more. So Catherine and I are fresh off a retreat from Centers for Spiritual Living. We were in Banff, Canada. Wow, is that a beautiful place? I know. And we were visiting about how oftentimes there were wonderful speakers there. And one of them, as a matter of fact, well, I'll shave that for a moment here. One of them kind of had ties to HCCL. So Reverend, I don't want to get her, Reverend Dr. Andrea Acevedo. And she stood up, and she's been a longtime CSL minister, and she's teaching a class, I noticed. And she says to everyone, she's starting to tell her story, and how she was an 18-year-old girl in Tucson, Arizona, didn't really have a lot of direction and didn't, know what to do with life and a lot of things going on until she met someone who changed her life forever. And she said, that was Reverend Charles Geddes.
Oh my God.
And Catherine and I went, oh, we know him. We know him. And so it was like, wow. And so I talked with her a bit afterwards and, hey, we're in Montana. We know Reverend Charles. And so she sends you big love. And I wanted to share that with all of us, not just so that Reverend Charles got that message, but and how incredibly important he was to her and to many of us here, and how he really helped shape her life, but also to serve as a reminder of how impactful all of us are anytime, and we may never know. I'm sure maybe since you know her, you may know that story. But all of a sudden, years later at this retreat at Banff, and here's two stray people from Montana, and we hear this, and it connects back to Reverend Charles. It's like, wow, it is all so connected, right? Kind of like those roots that we're talking about today. It's just, you just never know where those roots are going to entangle and entwine and bring you back to. And so it serves as a good reminder that all of us really have that power to influence someone. And we may get a shout out, who knows, right away or 40 years later, whatever it is. But just to never doubt your power of the influence you have of being a wonderful, positive light in the life of other people. So thank you, Reverend Charles, for that. Yeah. So Catherine and I, we were visiting. It was a long drive to Banff. And we were visiting about how it's not always, the presentations were great, but there's not a lot of new information for those of us who have been in this teaching for a long time or new thought. And if you're new, that's terrific too. You kind of hear some of the same things over, but maybe in a different way that impacts you, hopefully, or not. And even though we had heard and studied some of this information, we were visiting about the importance of remembering. And so I kind of viewed the experience as a retreat for myself, just like training dogs. And by the way, Zora does have some ribbons in agility. I just want to toss that in because, we did a lot of training, but always after everything, you were giving a treat, right? You were retreating. And so I looked at this retreat as a little bit of a retreat, just to treat myself and everyone there was treated to a reminder of our roots of spirituality, of religious science. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful time. Dr. Acevedo talked, am I saying her last name correctly? Yeah, thank you. Talked about that she had been training a puppy recently and that she realized she had a puppy mind. She said, some people call it a monkey mind. I call it a puppy mind. Sometimes I just cannot sit and stay no matter what. And she said, and I realized puppies want instant gratification. If you don't give them that treat right away, whether it's food or a ball, then pretty soon, forget them. Now, as synchronicity would have it, we were listening to an audio recording on the way home, and it was a book, The Art of Uncertainty. I had to read it for a class. And we were only listening because it happened to be the only thing that was still on Audible. And it just kind of came up, and, we're in the wheat fields of northern Montana and southern Canada. And so I was listening. So it just started at a random place. He was talking about puppy training. Yeah. So it's like, okay, there's those roots of synchronicity again, everything's tied together. And when things like that happen, I kind of feel it's a sign, two people using the analogy of puppy training in the last 24 hours. So my message might stray a little from the original title, but really it does connect to the roots and to the theme, I promise. The gentleman who wrote The Art of Certainty, Dennis Merritt Jones, said his mantra, he realized from his dog training, his puppy training, became sit, stay, be here now. And really, that's all we need to know, right? Sit, stay, be here now. And I would say that, quiet reflection is most deepening to our faith, whatever tradition or philosophy that is for you. To sit, stay, be here now is really not only the root of religious science, but most all religious traditions. The idea that we get still and we get quiet so that we can hear that voice of God or our inner wisdom and learn to trust it and then learn to act on it if something is ours to do or just to experience it. And we take those insights and we can develop maybe a larger meaning or insight into our life. And so at its roots, meditating or spending time in quiet reflection, being present, deepens that connection. And in this book, this thing called You, Reverend Charles is going to be doing a class on that. I encourage you to join in. Ernest Holmes says, and his quote is, "Your whole aim is to bring your mind to a place where it consciously accepts the good it desires. It may take time to do this, but the reward is worth the effort. Divine guidance is yours for the asking. An answer to any problem which can ever confront you already exists at the center of your being." And that's the end of his quote from that book. And that, of course, touches on the idea of, manifesting too. We talk a lot about that. But really, even before we consider that, going back to our roots, which really is whatever it is that created us, God, nature, some wonderful creative substance, going back to our roots of who we are, to sit and to stay and to be here now or be present for that realization and that flow of God to just, fill us up. So first we go to our roots, I think, in any spiritual practice or anything we do. And I'm the puppy mind like a Lulu. I have to remind myself a lot of that because I can sit and stay and say, I got to put the laundry in, Oh, okay, wait, sit, stay. I forgot to turn the hose off, So I need training constantly. I need to be retreated, not necessarily a food treat, but that treat of that. Then once you get to that place, that inner calm and that inner knowing and that just wonderful place that feels so good to be. It's easier said than done a lot of times, at least for me. I know I'm not for any of you, I know. To sit, to stay, to be here now. So those are the roots really of our human beings and the way to connect with our source of life. And that's a lot what Ernest Holmes talks about. And I know Reverend Charles will be as well. And we think of meditation and, getting quiet and all this stuff as new thought, but really it's not at all. It's the roots actually of the Bible talks a lot about meditation and getting quiet. And there was a quote, I don't remember the minister that said, he was talking about the Bible and meditating and what the Bible says about it. And he said, without this introspection, we can forget the importance of living righteously and following the lessons of the Bible. Now, whatever it is you follow the lessons of, you can fill that in. But really, without getting to sit and stay and getting to that quiet place, sometimes the lessons really, they're good, but they go out the window if we can't get to that place. In Colossians, it says, set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are of the earth. And boy, I don't know for you, but right now my mind can be a lot about the things that are going on this earth. And not to ignore it, but first and foremost, sit, stay, and be present with the things that are not of this earth, that are of our spiritual nature, that are of the true goodness and the true meaning of life. And then, yes, we may have to deal with things on this earth, but oftentimes, if you found, it's a lot easier. We can approach it from a calm place. We can approach it from a place of knowing that all is well within me at this moment. As I sit, as I stay, as I be here now, all is well. And so that's a bit about our spiritual roots. And I hadn't really thought of that before, as really the roots of all spirituality being sit, stay, get quiet. Now, sometimes I don't always manifest things. That's a principle here too in religious science. Sit, stay, and pray. There's something that we want to experience. But there's a lot, if you go in and untangle the roots sometimes of why you're not manifesting what you want. One time I kind of found that, I have these limiting ideas that I really don't deserve this good that I want because I've done some bad things or things that weren't so kind. Or I feel guilty having so much really when so many other people have so very little. I can remember at Christmas, I was sort of an only child in that my brothers and sisters were much older. So I was the only little kid that people had to buy toys for, right? It's kind of fun to have a little kid in the family. And so I got a lot, right, at Christmas. Bless you. And while I loved it and I would be so excited, I would go in my bedroom at night, the Christmas night, and I would just start crying because I would think of all the little kids that I'd heard about that did not have toys or anything. And so I think there is something in us, that we feel that. And I say that as guilt, but it's somewhere, and it didn't come from my parents. They weren't telling me, oh, you shouldn't have any of this. But that's why I think there is this divine nature in us, maybe to just I don't want to say it, just realize everything that's happening around us. And then we can be so very grateful for what it is we have and however it is that we got it. And not that we can't then help others as well. But the point of it is, and I'll get back to that point, there can be a lot of things tangled up in our roots, right? About why then we don't manifest what we want or the goodness. Those are just a couple examples from my life. I know that you have your own, but just to kind of relate to what I was talking about. And when I really got down to it, it's like, oh, I need to untangle some of these roots that are really, really knotted up in there to see what's in the way of my manifesting or experiencing more of what I want in life. Sharon and I went on a trip to Peru many years ago. One of the things the leader did was she took us to this cave, and it was just a hole. We had to go in separately, pitch dark when we got in there, and you kind of had to find a seat on a rock. And then she led us through a meditation about our ancestral roots. And man, I was having a hard time sitting and staying and not thinking about what might be falling on my head or crawling around. I'm like, okay, breathe, let it go. It's a bit claustrophobic, and it was great once I released myself into it. But I got to tell you, it was a little freaky at first. And I thought, and so I'm hearing this, oh, get in touch with your ancestors, yada, yada. I'm just thinking, okay, when will this be over? And I'm like, I can't leave because, well, it's pitch dark and there's only one hole to go out. So we have to be let out. And so I just relaxed into it. I finally began to sit and stay and be here now. And what happened, I just kind of had, I don't know if it was a voice, but some of you hear things, you see things, or you just have this knowing, right? All of a sudden it was, listen, young lady, your ancestors worked really hard for you to get here. And I'm not just talking about, my parents and their family that came over and farmed. But if you go way on back, people lived through famines and wars and plagues, yet somehow they kept life going so that they could give life to someone else, and then the next person, and the next person, and eventually all of us. And, they worked really hard. And by you not accepting your gifts, sharing what you have to offer, living your best life, you are really dishonoring those ancestors who worked so hard to get you here. Now, that was just my experience. That may not, be your belief or thought, but it was just overwhelming. It's like, oh yeah, I don't need to feel guilty. I'm not gonna, try and go out and overdo it, but wow, it's kind of like the Marianne Williamson quote, who are we to be small, right? But it's like, who am I not to live this best life? Because so many people worked to get me here. And of course, the divine source worked to get me here, but so many people, ancestors, and on our physical plane worked to get me here. And I started crying in that cave. And I'm thinking, don't sniff because it's like an echo chamber in here and everybody's going to hear me, doing this. And I still get, that was, gosh, what, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, Sharon? I don't know. I don't know if you remember that, but that was probably the most profound part of that trip for me. And we did a lot. And so I started to pay more attention to and appreciate my ancestral roots and, what they have to teach me and offer me. So uncovering those roots was quite profound. And again, those are those roots that can bind us, but we need to sort of do some work on it. Sometimes we might need some help to untangle those roots. if we're not experiencing the life that we want to live. And why screw up our life, right? With those roots that are binding us. Sit, stay, be here now. So I've talked about our spiritual roots, our ancestral roots, and now, as I promised in my blurb for today, these roots. So my hair, I was a broadcaster for many years. And so I always colored my hair. And actually, I think when I was about 29, my agent mentioned to me, you might want to start, doing hair color. You see little grays. I'm like, oh, I don't see it. But anyway, so at some point I did. And of course, for years, you have that persona or that image on TV. And so, of course, I colored my hair. When I left broadcasting, I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what color my hair really is. This is when I left broadcasting the first time. And it started growing out, and it was and I went, oh, no, I can't do this. Where's the Miss Clairol, And so I ended up going back into broadcasting again, colored my hair for many years. And I had concerns, one, just about the health of it, right? I mean, probably not the healthiest thing to be putting on my scalp for many, many years. But when I left television broadcasting for the final time, I thought, okay, this is it. To be truthful, it was probably the money, because I didn't realize how expensive it was, because I got that included, right, in my job. It's like, whoa, this is pricey. So I let it grow out, and it was painful. And I don't mean just physically painful of, having to see that line of your white hair and oh my gosh. But when it got grown out, it was like, wow, I had no idea how white it was. It is, And so I suffered through it. And it may sound a little trite, and it probably was, but it was difficult. When you're used to seeing yourself a certain way, and it's probably even just when you change your hairstyle. Sometimes I have a good friend in Billings, and since we've been little kids, her hair was down to here. And she just a few months ago got it cut. And it's beautiful and she loves it. But she was like, it actually was a lot more traumatic than I thought, to look in the mirror and not see my hair down to here. So for gentlemen, maybe it's when you start losing your hair, that trauma comes in. I'm not that I'm looking at anybody, but it's something different for each one of us, I'm sure. It's just, our physical body changes. And sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to realize. But I say it was a spiritual experience because it really was. It's like, okay, who am I now? Who am I when I look in the mirror? How are people going to perceive me? Am I going to seem attractive or not? Am I going to get comments like, oh, why'd you let your hair grow out? You look so old. And really, my sister's the only one that said that. But God bless her. And so it was really, I said, no, I'm going to do this. And I looked at myself and I thought, wow, it's a lesson in acceptance, realization, and how much of our physical presence is really who we are. And it is part of us, absolutely. But, it's certainly not the root, pun intended, of who we are. Or maybe it is. And so it ended up being very challenging and enlightening, and took a long time to get comfortable with it. Like, just a long time to get comfortable with who I really was without that persona of the darker hair and the newscaster and that whole thing. So I won't dwell any more on that other than to say, our physical roots sometimes can play a part as well. And funny enough, I do get a lot of comments on my hair. But most of them are women who come up to me and say, oh, I've thought about doing that, and I just don't know if I could. Or they'll come up and say, oh, you were so brave. I wish I was brave enough to do that. And I say, you are. It's okay. I survived it. And, and I'm not stuck in a hole somewhere. I get out. And so it's, although for a while there, when you got that line of demarcation, felt like hiding. And so again, like we talked about the Reverend Charles, you just never know. Who knows? I don't know how many women are, growing their hair out now. after seeing me. There's actually a whole Facebook page and stuff about going gray. It got to be kind of trendy for a while, right? So fortunately, I rode the wave of that for a while. But you just never know how you'll influence someone as simply as changing your hair color. But of course, there are many more profound ways we do that. So our spiritual roots, our ancestral roots, our physical roots, it all intertwines. And I think it's just fascinating to me how it does. So my last Bible quote, my mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be understanding. So more than my hair, I want to understand my heart. I want to understand everything I can about myself and this life and what's mine to know while I'm here. I want to live in the presence of spirit more fully, more often. I want to sit, stay, be present ever so much more. And the person I know who embodies that most of anyone I know, being able to sit, stay, be present, pray, and meditate, is Catherine. And so I'm going to invite her up to lead us into a meditation. And then I'll lead us into the offering and all that good stuff. So you don't need to worry about that now. But yeah, Catherine. And I asked her too, because sometimes I need a little help with a practice or a tool or a process or a procedure. So I said, hey, share some of what you do or do whatever you want to do. And you're welcome to move to the center. Are you good there? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. I do have consistent meditation practice, and I also have a puppy mind, a very puppy mind. But I read. Sorry. But one of the teachers through a book was Dr. Brew Joy. And he wrote a book called Joy's Way. And he was a medical doctor who had a healing crisis and kind of changed his whole direction. You know, he became a spiritual healer. And I know Roger Teal went to him, and we have been to. Oh. So Roger Teal had studied with Dr. Joy, and we both remembered the same thing. This was all I remembered was in the meditation practice. I do remember it was make no judgments, make no comparisons, delete the need to understand. And that's been my guiding force in my meditation practice, because sometimes, you know, my puppy mind will wander off for long periods of time. And then I can remind myself, make no judgments, make no comparisons, especially delete the need to understand. So the meditation I thought we'd try today is one that comes out of the Heart Math Institute in California. And they had some very complicated ways to synchronize the heart waves with the brain waves. And so I even bought a computer program. You know, I was supposed to play color in these little games or something. And I didn't do very well at it. So I recently saw, I had been to see Greg Braden, who was traveling with a heart math person. And he just recently gave us a simpler technique to get that coherence between our brain and our heart. So it's very simple. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. But it's basically 3 steps: focus, breath, and feeling. So the focus is we're just going to put our focus on our heart center. So, and in many religious traditions, you know, they'll put their hand right here on their sternum, you know, on the breastbone. Although the physical heart is actually over on this side, the heart chakra is centered in the middle. So just to bring our attention to the heart, you can place a finger, you can place your hand, you can do a mudra, you know, just to keep your mind focused on that heart center. And then we're going to breathe. So we breathe in and we breathe out, but we breathe out longer than we breathe in. So we would breathe in, say 4 slow breaths, and then we breathe out 6 slow breaths. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in and breathing out. Shorter in, longer out. And the third step is feeling. So humans have the ability to control their feeling. And so what I'm asking you or inviting you to do is to create a good feeling of appreciation or of gratitude as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So I am so appreciative. I am so grateful for this time together to reunite, to retreat with this wonderful community, to enjoy Orlinda speaking again, to feel the appreciation and gratitude for the rain that we have this year, for this beautiful country that we live in. Breathing in, breathing out, focusing on that heart. Imagine that breath coming in and out of your heart center, that place where the focus and feeling just now appreciation for someone or some place, gratitude for someone's. In this way, we are creating coherence between our heart and our mind. And this, according to the Heart Math Institute, is a very healing coherence, physically and emotionally. And now, please open your eyes when you're ready, having experienced the coherence between the heart and the mind.
But I just kind of want to be still, day, be here now. Wow, thank you so much. I'll move this over and so we can get some feedback here. So you see why I asked her to do that. Wow, such a great, simple technique. So it really is simple and, and not always to sit, stay, be here now. Thank you. So as I get ready to wrap up here, I did a story as a reporter one time on how they train search and rescue dogs. And it was a group out of Billings. And they like to use shelter dogs if they can. But to determine if a shelter dog is highly trainable and would be good at that, they take a ball and they go through the shelter and they see which dog, and you took Zora out, she was a little noisy, but see which dog pays attention to the ball and how much attention do they pay. And do they watch it intently? Is their focus everything about that ball? Which Zora is totally focused on that boy when she's playing ball. Lulu. So I found it so interesting. They take that ball and they go through the shelter. And if a dog picks up on it and focuses on it, they say, you know what? he or she, I think is very highly trainable. It would be very good at doing this. So as we get ready, if you choose to make an offering to HCCL, knowing of course that it goes out to help this center and this community, I have a little gift for you as well. Anytime you need to remember to keep your eye on the ball, to focus deeply and intently, to sit, to stay, to be here now, I invite you to place one of these somewhere, your altar, I don't know, wherever, your dish soap tray, just to remember, oh yeah, keep your eye on the ball, Orlinda. Sit, stay, be here now. And we got a song too, as we are, here you go, Miss Sue, I'll let you start. Just pass that around, right? Yeah, so sit, stay, be present. All right, thank you so much for these gifts to HCCL. I know that they are gratefully accepted and used and loved by this community and reaching out into the Helena community and beyond. So thank you so much. We are grateful. And I will invite who might be doing some announcements. Where are you? Oh, Ace. All right. Ace and I met, holy cow, 5 or 6 years ago. We went on a medical trip to India with Valerie Hellerman's group, Hands on Global. Ace, of course, being a doctor, knew what he was doing. I, of course, fainting at the sight of blood, did not know what I was doing. But, there was a lot of cleaning and paperwork and stuff I helped out with. But anyway, we were just talking about how that was probably the most excruciatingly difficult journey and things.
Quite a trip.
But most rewarding as well. Oh, yeah. So, all right.
And that was quite a sermon.
Oh,
Thank you. That was great.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take it away, Ace.
Well, first of all, I'd like to remind you to join us next Sunday when Jan Wong will deliver a message entitled, "Let Us Root for Each Other." And it's about connection and appreciation for the presence of spirit everywhere. Next on the list is Reverend Childs, of course, will be providing the class on science of mind and religious science and how to put its teachings into practice to profoundly enrich your life. It's going to be on Thursdays at 1:30 to 3 p.m. It starts August 28th and goes to August 2nd. We've got that down, dude. What did I say?
It's a really, really short class. It's
No, a really, really long one.
yes.
Gonna go the whole year. August 28th through October 2nd. Oh, the books are back there and they're $15. Did y'all get that? And there's a sign-up sheet back there too. So everybody sign up. These lessons promote healing, forgiveness, and compassion for all. So this is going to be a great course. Next is A Course in Miracles study group is on hiatus until mid-September. Is that still the case? Okay, and well, you can watch the newsletter for more information. When we get it going again, it'll mention it in the newsletter. Now, Masterfully Mindful Support Group continues to meet every Monday via Zoom from 1 to 2:30 p.m.
From 12 to 1:30.
Oh, it's from 12 to 1:30. It's changed. Okay, 12 to 1:30. Okay, thank you. The group provides a way to check in with others, to set intentions, and to share about your week. It's a safe place to share honestly and without judgment. To join, send Reverend Jean an email at jeansfamily6@yahoo.com. And Rosie's got a book. Yeah.
Yep. Good.
This thing called you.
Mhm.
Okay, and just a reminder that food sharing is today, is that right? Where's Marilyn? Yeah. Marilyn is right here and she's collecting checks. They're accepting money in lieu of food donations to better serve the community. They also need empty egg cartons and so bring cartons or a check to Marilyn Hayes or send a check to Food Share at P.O. Box 943, Helena 59624. And the last thing is the book study, is that still on hiatus? Does anybody know? I guess we're not doing that now. So never mind.
Charles's instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. He is.
That's right. Okay, did I miss anything? Anything else, anybody?
All right, good job.
Thank you.
Reverend Charles really is pretty famous. I mean, it was pretty cool at that whole big retreat to hear your name. So don't miss the opportunity to take this class with him. And that book, this thing called You, is used in religious science classes all over, and in my ministerial classes and all things. So it's a great book, and I know he'll be a wonderful teacher. Who did our beautiful altar today? Yay! Thank you, Reverend Jean. It's gorgeous, and I didn't even know, but I kind of blend in. So thank you. Yeah, it's all the roots that are woven in there. You know, there's so that is beautiful, and thank you, Ace and Maddie, so much for the technology back there, and anybody else who did anything to make the day happen. I'm truly grateful for all of you and for showing up. So thank you so much for coming, sitting, staying, being here now. Yay, thank you. We might need another